Hi there, this is Ian with MakeUseOf.com, and today we will be looking at how to install the Rust language onto the Raspberry Pi and use it. If you're wondering why you'd want to use Rust, it's pretty much the most exciting new programming language around. There's many reasons to love it, but two obvious ones are the fact that Cargo is the package manager that it uses to run and build everything, which is a little bit like NPM if you've ever worked with JavaScript. It's that, but combined with a language which does memory management beautifully. It's a little bit like C++, but much safer to use. So to install it, you head to the Rust website, click install, and there is a handy thing that you can just copy and put straight into your terminal. It has detected that we're on a Linux system. We're going to copy that, we're going to head to our terminal, and we're going to paste it. Once you've pasted it into your terminal, it will give you three options. One is to proceed with the installation, two is to do a custom installation, and three is to cancel. Just proceed with the normal installation. Depending on your connection, this can take a minute or two, so just set it going and give it a moment. Once the installation is complete, you will see that Rust is installed now. Great, but it hasn't been added to our path yet. To put it more accurately, it has, but it isn't showing up yet. So as you can see, if I look for Rust or Cargo, we don't have it. So I'm going to reboot my Pi, and when we come back, everything should be working. Now that we've rebooted, you can see that Rust and Cargo are there by typing rust -- version and cargo -- version respectively in the terminal, and as long as you get numbers, it's all installed perfectly well. I'm going to make a new directory for my project, so I'm going to type mkdir and I'm going to call the directory Rust. After cding into my directory, I'm going to make a new Rust project, and you do this by typing cargo space new and give it a name. So I'm going to call my project test_rust, and you'll see it's created a binary application. If we look inside it, we'll see that Cargo set up a blank project for us. I'm going to open up this project in Visual Studio Code, or more accurately Code OSS, which is a community build of Visual Studio Code for the Raspberry Pi. It'll take a moment to load, so it's a perfect time to plug if you want Visual Studio Code on your Raspberry Pi. I have a video on the Make Use Of YouTube channel about it. I also have an article about it on Make Use Of. But now that we're here, let's have a look at a blank Rust project. The blank Rust project probably has a folder structure some of you might be used to. There's a source directory, or src, and we're going to start by looking in there. This directory holds main.rs, which is the main Rust file that will run when the project is built. As you can see, they've just put a nice little hello world in there for us, and we'll be coming back to this later to do a bit of coding and also to work with our GPIO pins. There is also a git ignore file for version control, but we'll be ignoring that today, and there is a cargo.toml file. This is very important. This is sort of like the instruction manual for your project. Everything in here is what your project is. It's also where you tell your project what its dependencies are. Any dependencies that are in here will be found and downloaded for your project. The cargo.toml file is pretty much sort of the roadmap of your project. Just a quick note, this is Visual Studio Code, so you can try and install the Rust extension if you want. It sort of works, it sometimes doesn't. Since we have a working Hello World project from Cargo New, let's build and run it just to test everything is okay. We do this from the terminal. Much like we used Cargo New to create the project, we're going to use Cargo to build it. In fact, typing Cargo will show you all of the options that Cargo lets you do. To build the project, type cargo build within the directory that you made your project, and building the project will create an executable that you can run. The good thing about this is once you've built a project, anyone can run that executable whether they have Rust installed on their system or not. Now when we look in our project folder, we find a new folder called target. Inside that folder is another called debug. We're not going to go into the reasons why they're called that for now. Inside debug is where your executable will be. On Linux, you run an executable by pressing dot and then slash and then the name of it, so in this case test_rust. If you've installed Rust on Windows, for example, that will be a .exe file. But for now, let's run it, and there is our hello world. A few of you might be wondering why I'm using the normal terminal, since there is a terminal in Visual Studio Code, and that's just out of habit. I'm used to switching to another terminal. You can absolutely do all of this within Visual Studio Code. As you can see here, this time I'm doing cargo run, which is exactly the same as cargo build, except after it's built your project, it will run it for you, and you'll see I get my hello world. Rust can also work with the GPIO pins. Before we actually dive into Rust though, let's set up our Pi with an LED as normal. In this instance, a cable is running from GPIO 18 to the leg of a 330 ohm resistor. This is connected to the positive side of an LED, which is connected to the ground pin of the Pi. For a clear diagram of this circuit, take a look at the article on the Make Use Of website. And right here, I also have a normal Python script set up for blinking an LED just to check everything is working. This should be pretty familiar to you if you've used GPIO 0 before. And it's worth looking at because the Rust library is also based on GPIO 0. So right here, this should make our LED blink on and off and also print to the console when it does. And as you can see, everything is working fine. So let's do this, but in Rust. Before we can convert this to Rust code, we're going to need to use a library to access our GPIO pins. Now in Rust, these are called crates, and luckily a GPIO crate is available already for Rust. Rahul Takdor, sorry if I butchered your name, has created a Rust crate which is based on GPIO 0. Now rather than having to actually download anything, we're just going to copy the name of the crate from his GitHub page and add it to our cargo.toml file. Alternatively, you can copy this text from the article accompanying this video, which will be on the Make Use Of website. Check in the description of the video for a link. So inside our cargo.toml file, you will find an area called dependencies. Anything pasted under here will be a dependency of your project, but instead of having to download it yourself, you simply use the terminal. We're going to again use the terminal here in VS Code to rebuild your project. By typing cargo build, it checks for dependencies that may be missing and automatically installs them. This can take a while, but it only has to do it once. Now that the project is updated, we can use Rust GPIO in our project. The crate has been downloaded and you use it in the project by simply putting use at the top, much like import in Python or using in C#. We'll be saying use rust_GPIO. We'll also be putting 2 colons and a star sign, which is just a way of saying please import everything from this library. This isn't necessarily the best practice, but for today, it's fine. Also, much like in GPIO 0, we set our pin for the LED as a variable, we're going to do exactly the same thing here in Rust. The difference is you have to explicitly say if a variable is allowed to change or not, so we're going to do that. We're going to say this is a mutable variable called LED. That means if we want to change the value of it later, we can. And of course, we're using GPIO pin 18. Now, much like in the Python script we use while true to create a loop, we need a loop here. Loops in Rust use the loop keyword, and we're going to enclose what we're looping in curly braces. To actually turn the LED on and off, we'll be using the same syntax as the GPIO 0 library, and this is on purpose. This is a decision that the maker of the crate made. Although if you're coming from Python, make sure to use the semicolons. Rust requires them, and I'm very glad about that. I'm a fan of semicolons. However, we don't have any delay yet. This is something that we're going to have to use other Rust libraries to get. To get the delay needed to give our LED a blinking effect, we're going to use 2 parts of the Rust standard library. Namely, we're going to use sleep from thread and duration from time. By combining the 2 elements of the standard library that we've just added, we can make our delay. So inside sleep, we're going to ask it to sleep for a duration, and that duration will be 1 second. I add this here. I also add this after the LED off. I also fight with brackets just a little bit because you can't have too many brackets. So as you can see, we now have it set up much like the original Python script. The LED turns on, there's a delay of 1 second, it turns off, and there's another delay of 1 second. Now that our script is finished, we can test it. But before we do, some of you might have been wondering what this little green line was about. What basically has happened here is I was so eager to show you that you have to make things mutable on purpose in Rust that I didn't realize that, of course, the LED pin is something that we do not want to change. It doesn't need to be changed, and this is Visual Studio Code telling us that. So let's get rid of mutability. Now, instead of simply building and running this project now, we're going to use cargo check. You might wonder why would you bother doing that, but the bigger your projects get, especially if you're on something like the Raspberry Pi, which doesn't have the most processing power, using check to check if your script will compile can save you a little bit of time. This check goes perfectly well, so we're going to move on to running the program. As before, we are going to use cargo to build and run the script in one go by using the command run, and we get the hello world as before, and as you can see on the screen right now, the flashing LED. All thanks to Rust and the Rust GPIO 0 crate. So that is a very quick primer to Rust on the Raspberry Pi. Since I wanted to cover basic Rust setup and GPIO use in one video, it's been quite a light and quick overview, but if you like learning about programming languages, you're going to love Rust. There's a reason people are excited about it. Also, I urge you to check out Physical Computing with Rust. This is the book that Rahul has written. He's the guy that made the GPIO Zero crate, and it's free and online, so have a look at that. But most importantly, this is the Make Use of YouTube channel. We do tutorials, but we do a lot more as well. As well as the tech tips we have, there are reviews and there are giveaways, so consider giving us a subscription if you haven't already. But for now, as always, thanks so much for watching and have a great day.